This is the first time in 3 weeks, or the first day in 3 weeks, that it's not been raining. Belgian summers, you gotta love them. But I'm going to take advantage of this beautiful weather to go for a little bike ride. Let me show you. This is my bike. It is a Van Moof, which is an electrical bike. And apparently they went bankrupt a few weeks ago. Oh, and by the way, the topic of this video is responsibility of content creators.
So, as you might or might not know, I have a few other channels. One of them is the Omnic Post, my oldest and currently biggest channel, on which I report on the Blizzard first-person shooter game Overwatch, which now is Overwatch 2. Making content for that channel has not been easy in the last few years. The game has been going through a rough spot, to say the least, which resulted in a community perception that is at the low point. But that might change soon. We'll see. A popular comment on my Omnic Post content is Overwatch is dead. Which for one isn't true. I made a whole video on that a few weeks ago over on that channel, so go check that one out. But those comments are more of a sentiment than they are actual facts.
I just noticed that my battery on my bike is almost depleted, so this should be interesting. That's grass, by the way. They tell us that we need to touch it, but it's a little far, so. That whole "the game is dying" rhetoric is nothing new. I definitely am hearing it more than ever before, or even outside of Overwatch and outside of gaming. Let's take Diablo for instance, which is also a Blizzard game, granted, but one week it is praised into heaven and the next week it's claimed dead. The same with Marvel. Secret Invasion, the latest series that they released on Disney Plus, had its issues, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't their best work, and I recognize that. Then I see all these videos appear on YouTube with thumbnails that call it the biggest failure ever and Marvel is dead. Come on, guys. And I'm pretty sure it also happens in other fandoms where I'm not too invested in. I think it's a bit of a sign of our times. Now I really sound old. Let's continue a bike trip before the battery dies.
I see 3 reasons or causes for this dark trend in geek culture. Number 1, a lot of money is being made of these fandoms, which creates opportunities. And the first, money that they didn't have before, which results in a lot of ambitious projects. I would even say over-ambitious, because those projects don't always hit their targets, for many reasons. And when that happens, it leaves fans disappointed. In other words, mass production of geek content resulted in amazing products, more than we've ever seen before, but also in a lot more failed products. Because creating these games, movies, series isn't as much science as it is a lengthy and challenging struggle. Number 2, our expectations as consumers is through the roof. Overpromising plays a part in this, but as humans, we just like being surprised. We like new and shiny stuff. It makes us spend money, so the producers will do their best to impress us. At which point we're back to point number 1. But in the end, it's simple. We, the consumers, are spoiled. I'll save you the speech on how we got a good game every few months back in the day. Or how we got one great geek movie every 6 years. Anyways, number 3, content creators. That's me.
I think a lot of the content creators kind of start out making content out of passion. Passion for whatever fandom that they're making content for. But it takes a lot of work and time to get that done, to make that content. So at some point we all kind of hope to make a career out of it, make a living out of making that content, because it is so much work. It's not something you can easily do on the side of everything else. I personally experienced that. But to make a living of that content, you need to grow your channel. You need to get more views, more subscribers. You need to make changes in your content towards what the community thinks the algorithm likes. It is complicated. Some of these changes that people make are harmless, like posting at the right time when your users are online and being consistent. There's a kind of basic rules. And then there's a few that are in the gray zone, where you start adjusting your titles and your thumbnails to make your content a little more appealing, to kind of get people interested. But then there are the dark patterns, which is clickbaiting, using hyperboles in your titles and your thumbnails, which eventually will lead to doom farming. I don't think that is an actual word. It might be. It is now. But it is just the fact that any video that profits the doom of anything, any fandom, that highlights the negative elements and kind of blows them up, get more views, get more interest. Why? Yeah, I think that is just human nature. I'm pretty sure there's a sociological reason behind all that, something that helped us survive back in the Stone Ages, but we just like drama. I think there's a horsey coming. You gotta love living in the country. She's just going to the bakery. She's getting some bread. That's it. The thing is, once you start feeding that monster, you kind of give into that, all reason goes out the door. Which, as a result, creates a vacuum where the truth doesn't matter anymore. It cultivates this whole us versus them storyline, where you're either with us or you're against us. Which is a bit of a global problem, but let's not dive into that too deep, because otherwise I'm going to get too worked up. So let's just take the bike and drive home.
The sad fact just is that division is a part of humanity, but feeding off that weakness is not a good look. It's not the way forward for us as content creators and for humanity in general. As long as we don't start to understand just that, we as a species are doomed. But anyways, on the short term, playing that us versus them game might gain you more views. Yet in the long run, you are contributing to the downfall of your own fandom. Don't get me wrong, I think it is important that content creators are critical of the content they cover, but that works both ways. Critical isn't only negative. You need to approach each topic as rationally as possible. If it's bad, you need to speak out. But when it's good, well, it's good. Plain and simple. And that should get the same level of attention, those same hyperboles. I personally try to do that as much as possible. It's a deal I made with myself. I often get the comment that it is refreshing to see someone being positive about Overwatch, which is nice. I appreciate the compliment, but I don't consider myself positive. I consider myself rational. I do get annoyed and speak out on topics I don't agree with, but I don't give in to that knee-jerk coverage. I'll try to look at it from all angles. I'll research, which isn't easy. I am passionate about the topics I cover, both positive and negative. It's easy to get worked up about certain things. And in a few weeks, I need to make a living out of this. So I need more views to survive. I would worry a lot less about my future income if I rode that hate train. But I choose not to. I choose not to give in to the monster. I choose to bring nuance to my content. I think that is my responsibility as a content creator. Look, our content is a magnifying glass that can highlight both the good and the bad hands. But if we don't use it correctly, we might burn the whole colony and our fingers.
I'll bet you that you did not expect me to use an ant analogy in this video. Well, me neither. But there you go. I hope that over time, we can leave this whole hate surfing vibe behind us. That there will be a time that we as content creators do not need titles and thumbnails that make lofty and doom-fueled claims to make an honest living. Because if we don't, nobody's going to take us serious, ever. We're just going to become empty billboards for brands to use and toss away. Talking about Blink. Oh shit, I forgot to charge my bike. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.